Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Appreciate you joining me today. We've got a fun build today. We've got a restoration of a original Sweet 16 Hot Wheels custom Barracuda. I love all the Sweet 16 cars, and whenever I get a chance to do one of these cars, I get incredibly excited. Now this car is in pretty rough shape. You can tell that there's a lot of paint missing, the axles are bent, the wheels need to be replaced. The windshield's cracked, so we'll have to replace that. But what's really cool about this car when I saw it is that the interior on this car is purple. So when I go to redo the paint job on this, we're going to redo the purple. This is going to be a lot of fun, so sit back and relax, grab your favorite adult beverage, and join in today as we restore this custom Barracuda. I've already got the post drilled out. Now these posts are incredibly small and very, very narrow, so you're going to have to use a 1/16 inch drill bit to drill out these posts. Once you get it drilled out, take it really easy because you definitely don't want to bend any of the wheels, the axles, mar up the body any worse than it is, etc. Let's go ahead and get this apart. Like I said, the body's in pretty rough shape, but at least the posts aren't bent on here, so we'll be able to drill those pretty good. We'll get this thing stripped up, and then we'll get some flits in there and get it polished up. The base overall is in pretty good shape. The axles are bent, like I said, so we'll have to straighten those out. The wheels are in rough shape, so we'll put brand new wheels on there. And we'll get the base all polished up. Now with these 4 holes on the bottom and the blue windshield, this tells me that this car was manufactured in Hong Kong. And of course you can get them either from the US or from Hong Kong. So those are the telltale features of a Hong Kong car. Now the interior being purple, which is really cool, we'll fix that, we'll clean it up, and we'll get it all back together again. Let's go ahead and continue on with the next step. Alright, we need to drill out the post. Now like I said, we're going to use a 1/16 inch drill bit. This will accommodate the 1-72 screws. Now the 2 lengths of screws that I use are 1/8 inch and 3/16 inch long. Now, since these posts are a little bit longer than normal, we're going to go ahead and use the longer screws, the 3/16. Let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit so we can get past this, but you get the general idea. Every so often, clean off the drill bit so you get the metal that may be sticking in the flutes of the drill bit so it's got a nice clear path for it to drill. And it won't get clogged up on you. Alright, we got those drilled out. Let's go ahead and tap the holes. I've got a 1-72 tap. Now I'm going to put 1 drop of motor oil in the back post. This is just how I do it. And then when I go to do the front post, there's enough residual oil on the tap in order to tap out the post, so you don't have to just put oil all over the place. Go ahead and screw it in. As soon as you start to feel resistance, you need to stop. If you go any farther, you're liable to bind up that tap and it'll snap off in the post. And if you do that, it's all over. If you can get it out, you're lucky. Alright, let's go ahead and tap out the front post. I got these tap handles at brightvisionwheels.com. Now, Second Chance Redlines, Vince over at Second Chance Redlines, he sells these taps also. So check it out at scredlines.com. Vince has an incredible array of decals. He's got the new Retro Flame paints and all kinds of other products. He's got hoods, he's got glass, he's got wheels. So check out Second Chance Redlines. Again, here I'm using the 1-72 screws. Now I get my screws from a company called Fastenal. And these are the same screws that you can get at Bright Vision, at the Redline shop, at Second Chance Redlines, on eBay, etc. I've got a video coming out here in the near future, and I'm going to go step by step through the car, and I'm going to show you where I get my parts from, where I get everything that I use from on the internet, and where you can purchase it also. There, we got both the screws in. Now we're ready to get the paint off this bad boy. Let's move on. Here we've got the body ready to dip it in the embalming fluid, also known as citrus strip. I go ahead and I dip it in there, and then I'll knock off the excess citrus strip, and then I'll put it on a plate or a tray or something like that so I can keep an eye on it occasionally so I can see if the paint is bubbled off. Now sometimes I'll just let it sit overnight, and I have let it sit for a couple of days if necessary. It doesn't hurt the body. Let's go ahead and let that set for a while, and we'll come back to it later to clean it up. Here's the base. I'm going to put this in a mixture of CLR and water. Now, I always use Lime Away or something like that. This is the same stuff. I'll leave it in there approximately 3 to 4 minutes, but just keep an eye on it, because if you leave it in there too long, it'll turn black on you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. And the best part about that is, folks, it's free. Now, like I said, you let this sit in the mixture, and if you want to get away the tarnish away from the base, then this is the way to do it. Now, Flitz also has a chemical fluid that you can use that will also take the tarnish off the base, and I'll use that again in a future video so you can see what's going on with that. Once the 3 minutes are up, or depending on if it looks clean enough to you, I'll go ahead and get in there with a brass brush and scrub it down, and then I'll clean it off with soap and water to get the residual off the base. Now I'm using this abrasive wheel. It's kind of like a Scotch-Brite pad, and I get these from Amazon. Now I also have these on my Amazon Marketplace page. I get them for about $18 for a bag of 100, and they come with the assorted different abrasives. Now usually one wheel lasts one car. If you press hard, it's going to eat away quick, the wheel. If you take it easy, you might get away with using it on a second car, but again, that's up to you. I'll go ahead and take off as much tarnish as I possibly can, or polish it up with these wheels, and then I'll come back in a little bit later with the Flitz, and we'll polish it up and make it look really nice. Be careful around your wheels, because if you get too close to the wheels, you're liable to snap them off. This is starting to look pretty good. The base is actually in pretty good shape. I'm very pleased. Get everything you possibly can. Get the tarnish off there, because the better your base looks, or the better your metal looks, the better the polishing is going to turn out when you go back in there with the Flitz and the polishing wheel. That's looking all right. Let's go ahead and get that bad boy polished up. Here I've got the Flitz. I love this product, folks, and you only need a little dab on there and just spread it all over your surface. If you have to add a little bit more later, you can do that. But just don't put like big gobs on there, because all you're doing is wasting product, and it's going to take a long time for that to actually work. Let's go ahead and speed this up, and you can see the Flitz working. Now I've got a 20% discount available in my comment section of the beginning of this video. So if you want 20% off Flitz, go ahead and copy the link, paste it on your web browser, go to Flitz, and then put in the code Graveyard, and that will help you get a 20% discount off of any Flitz product from that website. But you have to use that link or it won't work. That's looking pretty darn good. We just got to clean it up with soap and water and we'll be good to go. That's looking nice. Now, if you wanted to later on, you could go back in there with some Renaissance wax once it's all cleaned up, and then it'll keep it from tarnishing in the future. Now it's time to do the wheel swap. Man, that base looked nice. We got these wheels from the Redline shop. We got 2 small meats for the front and 2 medium meats for the back. Check out what John has to offer at the Redline shop. He's got wheels. He's got the world-famous Spectre Flame paint. He's got decals. Check out all the products that are available at the Redline shop. Looking good. Let's go ahead and get these old wheels off. I use my thumbs. I guess I do use my thumbs. And I put equal pressure on the 2 sides of the wheel and pop it off. Now, if you're meeting any resistance at all, just go ahead and cut the wheel off. Just on the tire, not around the axle or the bearing or anything like that. But these came off incredibly easy. Nice. Now let's go ahead. We'll put those 2 medium meats on the back. And the 2 small meats on the front. Super. Now we're going to take this bearing tool that I also got from the Redline shop, put it in between the bearing, the axle, and the body, and then push it on with your thumb. That'll secure it to the body of the car, the base of the car, excuse me. Now sometimes you might not be able to get that tool in there. Just use your thumb to push it on, but be extremely careful that you don't bend the axle. Man, that looks absolutely sweet. Now I also use this tool to straighten the axles. Now we're going to go ahead and detail the car. Don't forget to check out the Redline shop with everything they have to offer. Alright, here we've got the front. I'm going to take some flat black paint. And I got this little application wand. And we're going to go ahead and put that flat black paint in there and fill in the area on the grill. Now notice there's a little bit of residual on the grill itself. Just wipe it off with your finger or get you a little Q-tip or something with a little bit of lacquer thinner on there and very carefully wipe off the edge, and it'll look nice and clean. There we go. Now at least you can see it. That looks awesome. Now let's go ahead and do the back. Here I've got a permanent Sharpie marker in red. I'm going to hold the pen at an angle. And color in the taillight. Now if you happen to get any of the red off to the side, again, you can use a Q-tip or some alcohol or some lacquer thinner or whatever, and you can take off anything that you messed up on. I got some on the very edge there. That looks nice. I got a little bit on the edge. I'll get in there with that Q-tip and clean it up. This is Tester's paint. I mean, you can use any brand. It doesn't matter. That's up to you. Let's move on. All right, now it's time to polish up the body. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hit it with an abrasive wheel, and we're going to take off any of the toning or any stains that are on the metal. Now again, take your time with this, because the harder you push down with that wheel, the quicker the wheel is going to get eaten away. And, you want it to last at least for one car. Take your time, go all the way around, on the sides, on the hood. Now when you're doing it on the hood, make sure you're holding the hood down with your thumb. If that wheel grabs onto the hood, it'll snap that hood back, it'll snap the pins, and it'll break them off, and you won't know what to do. You'll be in a world of hurt. Now I'm going to come in here with a finer wheel and try and smooth out some of those abrasion lines. It really took care of the toning on there. This is going to be nice. Now it's time to hit it with the flitz. And again, only use a little bit. Hold on to the hood that opens up when you're close to the edge. I've had hoods snap on me, and it's why I tell you this, so you don't make the same mistakes that I have done. And that's the purpose of these videos. If I can help you with your hobby and make your cars look fantastic that you can do yourself, and yes, I did say do it yourself, okay? You can definitely do this. Now, if you have to put a little bit more flitz on there to finish up the job, then go ahead and do it. It'll make your body look fantastic, getting it ready for that paint that you're going to put on here in just a little bit. Wipe it off with a cloth and then get it into the sink and clean it off with a degreasing formula. I happen to use Zep degreaser, and that's good stuff. Now that's also available at my Amazon Marketplace page, and I buy it by the gallon, and it lasts me easily an entire year. Okay? Now there are a few fine lines on that metal, but you can polish that up a little more and make those go away. Alright, we're in the paint booth. Here we're going to use Retro Flame Purple. Now the Retro Flame paint is available at Second Chance Redlines. Check out the Retro Flame paint lineup that Vince has to offer. And this is what I'm going to use on this car. Now, the other thing is take your time with the paint job. You want to put light mist coats and build it up. You don't want to coat it all at once because it will run. I get the inside of the car first, and the fender wells, then I'll come out and I'll do the outside of the car. The key here, like I said, folks, is light mist coats. We're just about at the edge to where we need to stop and let this set for at least 15 minutes. If you put down much more paint, all you're going to do is get it to run, and you're going to have to clean it off and start from scratch. Let's move on.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
I got a few more coats on there, and I let it set overnight. And man, look how beautiful that paint turned out. What a beautiful dark purple. This is fantastic. Here we've got the base all polished up and ready to go. That turned out beautiful. Brand new wheels from the Redline shop. We detailed out the taillight and the grille. Here's the interior, the purple. That looks fantastic. Here's the windscreen. This is scratched up and broken, but I've got a brand new one that I got from Second Chance Redlines. And here's what we started with. This custom Barracuda original Sweet 16 car. Man, I'll tell you, these old cars, these old muscle cars, I absolutely love Hot Wheels. I love Matchbox cars, but you know what? I love real cars. I don't care for fantasy cars. You know, like I've seen these ones called like the Bubble Gunner and some other ones. Now, some of them are cool, but most of them, you know, with the big bright orange wheels and just the oversized engines and all that stuff, you know, some people really love them. I'm not one of them. Give me muscle cars, trucks, utility vehicles, anything that looks fairly real. I love it. If I can get in there, repaint it, modify it, make it look really good, then I'm all for it. And you can do all this stuff yourself too, folks. If you got questions, just ask. And here's what we got to. Look how beautiful this car turned out. Let's start at the base. We got brand new wheels from the Redline shop, and they look fantastic. We got the base that we polished up with the flits. That looks good. Looks great, excuse me. We got the body that we cleaned it up and we repainted it with the retro flame paint available from Second Chance Redlines. We got the aftermarket windshield also from Second Chance Redlines. Folks, this car is completely restored and it would be a beautiful member to anybody's collection. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I read every single one, I promise you. Now, I might not get back to all of you, but I do the best I can. I do have a full-time job and I'm on the road constantly, so I do this when I can, when I'm home. But this is my happy place. Thank you for joining me at Diecast Graveyard today. I had a fantastic time. And like I said, if you got any questions, leave them in the comments. Check out my Amazon Marketplace page. There is a link in the comments. There's a link for flits. And check out all the sponsors that help me along. Thank you again for joining me today, and cheers.